Hey, it's Tuesday. Welcome everybody to our live stream. Tonight we're joined by a special guest. Hopefully you'll enjoy as much as we do. As always, every week, it's me and Arrow.
So,
And this week we're joined by Acostoss.
hey, hello.
A little bit about yourself, maybe?
Basically, I'm an ex-anti-blogger doing a lot of IT work nowadays, and I just try and keep up on everything, staying within fandom, mostly on Twitter, 4chan, a couple other unsavory places.
Sounds good. So let's get something started. First up, that's right, we have a new text message line. So if you're wanting to send us a message on the side, anytime now during the broadcast or during the week, you can send questions, comments, feedback to the number shown on the screen. Remember that all standard voice and text message rates apply. But we would like to hear from you. Any questions you give us during the week, we'll be sure to include in the broadcast the following week. So something, a new feature we're getting started.
Sweet.
So first up, Shonen Jump, which is probably one of the largest weekly manga distributions in Japan, is going same-day digital in Japan, which is interesting in itself in that it shows that either the business model or the mindset has been changing rapidly, that digital now is just another method for them. They're not as afraid as they used to be, which I think is interesting enough. There's been so many different comic organizations that have been very reluctant to release things digitally. It's been a slow uphill battle, almost as much as, everything else, streaming rights, the whole works.
If I'm not mistaken, hasn't the Western version of Shonen Jump been doing the same thing for most of their weekly manga? Like, I believe I'm not saying for the Japanese version, but am I not mistaken there, or?
I thought Shonen Jump was still somewhat behind. Like, there was either a week or a month, wasn't it?
I could have sworn it was same day for a couple select series. I'd have to look it up sometime.
Okay. My impression from this was that it was going, the entire volume was going, everything in that week was going digital. So whatever you bought physically was coming out digital.
Oh, yes, definitely in Japan. I'm just meaning on the other
on our
side.
side.
Yes.
Yeah, I think right now, you're right. I think we can get, maybe it's the big three, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it's big three and maybe a couple specials every once in a while.
Yes. That sounds right. Now, Arrow, do you still read anything from Shonen Jump?
Let's see. Does Nisekoi count?
Yes.
Yes.
So you got the big three. Then you got some other ones like Shingeki no Soma, which is the cooking one. The non-traditional battle involves cooking. You've got Nisekoi. See, Medaka Box has been dropped now, I believe, finally.
Dropped or finished?
Well,
Finished, I believe.
yeah, finished, but I think that's a perception thing more than anything, right?
I mean, at the end of the day, was the writer fired, or did
True.
they just?
I think it was just gently terminated, but that was on the edge for so long. So, anyways,
True.
I see this as, I don't know, for me I see it as very indicative of the publishers embracing digital. And if Shonen Jump whatever Shonen Jump does seems to lead going forward.
Yeah. Well, see, what I'm kind of curious about is, I'm assuming in order to get this digital distribution, you have to register an account, right?
Probably.
So what I just want to know is how much is that account, and I guess how does that compare to, which we'll never get the numbers though, but how does that compare to, I guess, the actual cost, of production for these books, I guess, per book, if you get what I'm trying to say.
So you mean the conversion from physical to digital?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Illegal scans, as much as we all like them or hate them, they're going to be there forever and ever.
Yes.
So whether you're dealing with the book form or you're dealing with the electronic copy, you're still going to be able to distribute this, right? So I guess it seems like what they're doing now is just, hey, if we go digital, we can just expand the audience. Maybe, I guess cut down on costs as far as producing these physical versions of the books. And, I guess, just embrace this natural change. Doesn't necessarily mean that they agree with it, but regardless,
They understand.
It's
They understand the money. They
yes,
understand
it's
green,
the next steps.
or
Exactly.
whatever color Japanese money is. But I just think
I thought it was all coins.
what's that?
I thought it was all coins, but
But I just think we've already Shonen Jump same day in America as well. I think it's a good business model to embrace in the end.
I don't know if you want to embrace it though.
I'm not.
I mean, you're essentially. I mean, again, I said it before. Scans will always happen. Illegal scans will always happen. But by making an electronic copy, you're just making it easier for them to scan it.
If that's in essence probably.
So I mean,
Although,
you're
it
not.
depends on what the quality is and how the DRM is involved. Blah 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 blah. Right down the line.
I mean, I'm assuming like you just have like some kind of online readers, and then worst case scenario, or I guess worst case, the cheapest quality you can do is literally load up a page, turn your display, and print screen.
Oh yeah.
So like it's
All 300 DPI.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's always a way to get around it, and I'm pretty sure there's much more sophisticated ways of going about it. But what I'm saying is that you're hoping you can, what you're doing by making it easier to get it scanned online, you're hoping that these sales will offset it.
True.
So,
But at the same time, if it's inevitable that people are going to go out and scan these, that are going to translate them or just pirate them for the Japanese market, if that's already inevitable, why should they be so afraid to do it? And other than the fact that it is
again, because you're easing the access, you're making it easier for it to become illegal. That's why. I mean, if it was still just in book form, you would need someone with a scanner, and then you would need someone who would then, after scanning it, to then electronically edit all the text, to translate all the text. Like it doesn't sound like an easy thing to do. Especially that's a lot of Photoshop, to be honest.
People do it. It's amazing how fast people do it. Like 24 hours. I mean, Shonen Jump is completely translated and up online.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at the same time, we already had the precedent set by, let's say, Spotify, by Steam, where we've made it really easy to get these digital goods, where we've made it very cheap to do so, and pretty much piracy for those goods has gone down in a very obvious way.
It's also because of the culture behind it, too. That's also part of
Very
the issue. I mean, it's like you can argue the same thing about why is anime now like streaming everywhere legally.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll's big, but at the same time, you have sites like Horrible Subs who just get the rips and then distribute them free.
Crunchyroll's gotten to the point with what they have and the price they're charging, you're almost better off just going with them now. It's not. I looked it up. It's $7 a month for their anime-only catalog right now.
But you can't beat free 99. That's the thing.
Oh, I know.
You still have the access of watching you still have the ability to watch everything for free.
But I'm saying the price point has come down to where, regardless of what free will always win, right? But at $7 a month.
Yeah, it's cheap.
That's not bad, man.
It's cheap, yeah. And not to mention, you're essentially giving companies like the viewer demographics to understand exactly what's popular and what's not. Yeah, we get it, but I'm just saying nothing beats free.
Nothing beats free. I agree. Now there was a comic company in the United States that has decided to release DRM free comics of what they do. I can't remember the name. I just saw it about 2 weeks ago. And I can't remember. It was one of the major ones.
Dark Horse. I thought Dark Horse. I thought so.
Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Okay, so it was Dark Horse. It probably was right. And I thought that was an interesting step. They're admitting that, it's piracy is going to happen. People will pay for it, and people won't.
Yeah, you just hope that not everyone's a leech.
Exactly.
Anyways.
All right, so moving on. A new Fate Stay Night anime is in the works by Ufotable. What's that?
UFO Table.
UFO Table? Sorry.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But Studio Dean did the previous Fate Stay Night. I only reached this research this briefly, so I apologize. I haven't heard if it's a remake or if it's a side story based on the Fate Stay Night plot.
I don't think it's been announced yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything either. It was very brief in the announcement I saw.
I mean, so what everyone's hinting at is that, or not hinting at, everyone is speculating that Ufotable is hinting that it's going to be the Heaven's Feel arc. Because if you think about it, Studio Dean did The Fate, which is Saber's route. And then they also did Unlimited Blade Works, which is Rin's route. So the last route that you can do is Ilia's. No, I'm kidding. It's Sakura's route. So, I mean, that's what people are speculating would do. It's the more complex of the three routes. And so, if there's a studio that can do it, Ufotable is probably the one that could do it. I mean, they've dealt with heavy material like Fate Zero, so
Yeah.
seems like the next logical step, right?
Well, they did a great job with Fate Zero in comparison to how Dean did Fate Stay Night. So.
Well, again, two different stories, two different studios.
Yeah, but
I mean, yes, we all agree that Fate Zero is better than Fate Stay Night, but again, it's still two different studios. It's comparing apples to oranges.
in a sense,
Completely
but
different.
It's
styles
two
of
stories as
adaptation.
well. Two stories. That's what I was trying to say. It was two different stories.
when did
I
Fate
think
Stay?
it's two different.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
All right. As I see it, it's just two different styles of adaptation. For Studio Dean, they didn't believe they'd get to cover the other two arcs of it, or the other two routes of it. For that
Wait,
reason, they
Studio-
kind of
but
when
they
they
did Unlimited Blade Works, though.
no Studio Dean, not
Yeah.
Ufotable.
No,
That was-
Studio D.
Am I mistaken on who did Unlimited Blade Works then?
That
Is
was
I-
Studio D.
Was it?
I thought.
I believe.
Joe, be the referee on this one.
All right. Okay. While you guys are talking, I'll do a fact check. But keep going.
Okay, but yes, continue.
Okay, based on my logic, assuming that was Ufotable, Dean, they never really believed that they would get to animate these other arcs or these other what's the term I'm looking? These other routes in it. For that reason, they mixed in a lot of filler material, a lot of material that didn't exist in the main Fate route. So it might be a good idea. It might be possible that they are going to do a remake of the Dean, of the original Fate route.
So Fate.
And I think,
So Unlimited Blade Works with Studio Dean. To interrupt.
Boom.
oh man,
You know how I know it was Studio Dean and not Ufotable?
How's it?
Because if it was Ufotable, it would have been good.
That's terrible.
No, but yes. I mean, UFO tables essentially just picking up all the work that essentially every single Type Moon fan wants. So
yeah.
I mean, they did Carnival Phantasm too, I believe.
Well, now I got to fact check that. Oh, you guys.
So I mean, so
they
think
didn't
about-
do, no, they didn't do Carnival Phantasm. Somebody else did.
well, anyways, still though they did Fate Stay. They did the Fate Stay night.
Sorry, Lurche did. Lurche
CJ.
did Carnival Phantasm. That's right. I knew I did.
Okay, that was no, but going back to Ufotable though. Let's see. They did the Kirino Kyokai series. They did
Yes.
Fate Zero. They did the cutscenes for like that Fate Stay night when it got transferred to the PS Vita.
Yeah,
Something like
less
that?
than one.
Yeah. So like essentially, Ufotable's like second paycheck is essentially everything that's Type Moon related at this point. So it's not. I don't know. A lot of people are speculating this would happen eventually. So I guess no one's really surprised. It's just more or less people are happy that that's finally confirmed.
Yeah. Honestly, they can only improve on it. Studio Dean did not adapt those arcs very well.
I think they were just trying to milk it for the money. But
I would agree with that. That it
I
was
mean,
pure-
I
pure
haven't
money
seen.
milking.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't
to be
seen what?
honest.
Fate Stay Night?
Yeah, I've seen Fate.
Oh.
I've seen Fate Zero and Unlimited Blade Works.
Imagine
That's-
a more terrible version of Unlimited Blade Works
I mean,
wasn't even all that good.
I mean, I've heard how bad it is. I've heard that they essentially swapped out a sex scene with like a CG dragon, which totally makes sense. But I mean, I don't care. It's in the past. If it's not my thing, it's not my thing. I'll give this a try. But it just seemed like I don't know. Everyone's like yeah. Personally, I'm just like I saw it coming. I saw it coming. I see a lot of things coming.
All right, moving on. Okay, a little editorial topic next up. So, after Anime Expo, there was a lot of chitter-chatter about Code of Conduct. It seems like there are individuals that tend to act in a disrespectful manner at cons, whether that's harassing female cosplayers or just generally making asses of themselves.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple articles on different sites about should these cons be more Should they enforce their codes of conduct better, and should they make more public what their codes of conduct are?
How about you go first? Because I've only been to 2 cons, so my experience is limited. I have thoughts, but it's limited.
I've been to different things, not so much a con, but I've been to different things where people seem to, we know that whole what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas mentality. Does that make sense? Like people drop what they would consider their normal behaviors and take on a persona that is not them in an effort to let loose or just be part of the crowd, whatever you want to call it. And so I was reading something that was really interesting about the psychology behind crowd mechanics. It was one of the articles. And it's interesting how you get a lot of bystander effect in these things. You would get people, if that person's doing it, I guess it's okay for me kind of mentality. And it tends to, what appears to be happening, breed as toward a sort of social norm that really just isn't acceptable.
Yeah. See, I don't know. So I'm gonna go off my experience of 2 anime conventions. I always find this. I shouldn't laugh. I should not laugh at all. But to be honest, I kind of find this kind of hilarious in some sense, in a very twisted sense.
Okay.
Well, because I know at Anime Boston they always say that like they say there was a giant slogan that said cosplay is not consent.
Yes, that's one of the articles I've read recently.
Yes. I know I shouldn't laugh, but I find it hilarious. But all I know is that for some reason, when you're in a giant crowd of people, with people just playing around, I guess, like it's a very lighthearted nature crowd, and when you're not being serious, not to mention, there's a lot of what's the word I'm thinking about? I don't know, how do I put this? You're taking a persona essentially. Where yes, it's true that you're in a big venue and like you are like one in a million, so there's a lot you can get away with. But the fact that like no one actually uses their real name at these conventions either, like there's like it's almost like you're going in as anonymous, and so for some reason this breeds like this impolite. I'm not impolite. How do I put this? It's really hard to say. It's just. Yeah, it's just like honestly, the best way to say this is that you have a bunch of man children, and the parents are gone, so they're just gonna fuck around. And so, I mean, yes, everyone's trying to be lighthearted about it, and they're not trying to be super creepy, or most people, I should say. Most people aren't trying to be super creepy, and they try to respect other personal space. But when you're dealing with massive amounts of people, you're bound to get a few of them. So I've heard the stories before of, like, mirrors on your shoe tops, like, secret cameras, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's kind of sick. Kind of. It is sick. But at the same time, like, I feel like you're in a place that not saying it allows it, but it's almost to the point where it's almost normal for that stuff to kind of happen. Which is a bad thing, but at the same time, like, you don't see this shit happening like at sports games. Like, when was the last time you saw a guy with like a hidden camera trying to take pictures at a football game?
Yeah, but
like,
true. Well, football games are the social. Yeah, true. But in that respect, there's not much to look at either. People aren't wearing skirts that barely.
Have you ever been to a Cowboys game?
Like, yeah.
Cowboys game, you don't need a secret camera. You just watch the cheerleaders.
Exactly right.
They're about to fall out. They're about to fall out anyway. You don't need a secret camera.
But yeah, what I'm saying is that like I don't know. It's a different crowd. It's a more immature crowd as opposed to just walking around in public.
But should it be?
I think.
No. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm not saying we should allow this to happen. But at the same time, you can't really do much. Like, okay, like until a person is caught doing the act, there's not much you can really do. Like, because you're not an official organization that has any law enforcement like jurisdiction. Like if you go, it's funny because if you actually go to like an anime convention, sure, like the perimeter has like a bunch of security guards, but then like inside itself, there's 2 kinds. You got rent-a-cops and you got volunteers, and there's no way either of those people are allowed to lay a hand on something on a person who may be deemed quote unquote suspicious. So yes, you can try to enforce these codes of conduct, but you can only do so much. I like preventing it. Like it's essentially up to the people's responsibility to a larger extent. Like yes, like the volunteers, like because like the volunteers, like they can stand on the sides, but they can only do so much. So, I mean, if someone gets caught, then you can report them to the proper authorities, and then action can be taken. But yeah, like I know it sucks, but it happens. Like again, like the article you were referring to about AX and like the hidden camera, like yeah, it sucks how they found it after the fact, and yes, like they are doing an investigation to figure out who set it up in the first place. But at the same time, it's like unless you search through everyone's bags and like all their personal property to make sure that no one has a camera of any sort, like that, it's almost unavoidable at that point.
And then you're going to be getting pat-downs at least because you know these people are going to be crafty about it. And if you can hide a hidden camera somewhere, then you can easily hide it on your person.
I mean, like, but the thing is, too, is that, like, usually the security does a decent job. Like, I know for Anime Boston, maybe because of the whole bombing incident at the marathon, but, like, the cops there, like, they search through all your bags, like, they check all your coats, and if you have any prop, essentially they would have to search the prop, especially if it looked like a weapon. So, like, hiding, I mean, cameras can be really small, true, but at the same time, like it's not like they're going to, like, you know, take off all your clothing and be like, take off your shoes, take off your belts, take off any excess clothing and, like, search it all. They can only do so much.
And I would agree about the part where I don't want to say, like, there's always the worst side to be on in an argument of saying, oh, that happened because they wore this thing. But in a lot of ways, let's say you're the cosplayer, you have to understand that this is a group of people that are letting loose, that are going to act like idiots. Maybe not all of them, but at least one or two. And you have to take measures to protect yourself as well. And you have to get rid of the fear of speaking out, assuming that there's a volunteer right there saying, hey, this guy, I want him away from me. He is not good. I don't like him. I don't like what he's doing. Get him away. You don't need a reason. You just say, I don't want him there. Have him removed.
True, and I agree with that. I think this cosplay or this cosplay is not consent thing misses that there's a social aspect that is not going to respect a damn thing no matter what they do, and I think they have this high and mighty thought that humanity is inherently good, when in a situation like this they're not. And humanity is at its lowest common factor.
But again, what I'm trying to...
That speaks ill of cons.
Again, let me reiterate this point, though. Even if you assume that you're dealing with the lowest of scum, you're dealing with, like, the worst kind of people there are, what do you do, though? Like, logistically, how do you enhance security?
Well, I guess there's two sides to this. One, you have the people running the con first, and two, if you're a cosplayer, I guess you have to think about it yourself. So the con can only do so much, like you've said. They're not a legal authority. The worst they can do is they can revoke your badge and kick you out.
Yeah.
They can take your badge,
and report you to
depending on the crime. If it's recording, that's voyeurism, and you can they can report you to the police.
Even cases of, like, assault or sexual assault or harassment.
Oh yeah, they can report you to the police. Like I said, they have a graduated response probably they can take that's within their legal bounds. But they can't actually arrest people, etc. They can just retain you long enough to have the proper authorities come and arrest you. That's about all they can do. They can't withhold your rights, blah, 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 blah. But then, so I think we're all in agreement on that, right? The con has whatever it can do, regardless of its policy that it can enforce. As a cosplayer, I think you have to I think you just have to start realizing that you are going to be the subject of, for better or for worse, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, and I'm not saying this is right, but you just have to acknowledge that you're going to be the subject of harassment. It's going to be a given, whether that's completely not the way it should be, but it's just going to happen. I guess you have to accept is that a risk you're willing to take?
Yeah, it's probably better to say that there's a possibility of
it's
not guaranteed.
It's not a guarantee,
but again, you can then you can actually take this out into the real world. You can actually take this out like in everyday life. Like, say for example, you have some young 20-something who decides to wear a miniskirt. It's the same fucking thing, right? Like, she wants to wear a miniskirt because for whatever reasons may be. But at the same time, that person needs to be aware by the fact that other people are going to have different reasons of looking at the miniskirt. So, and what the actions they take based upon that, and I'm not saying that he or she needs to suffer the consequences, but at the same time, they need to understand the risks and understand what they need to do in order to make sure that they can ensure their security.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks, but, like,
This is just like everyday life.
But I think it gets amplified because the group dynamics make it.
No
work.
shit, it gets amplified. You're dealing with a bunch of man children.
Well, but I mean, it's those individual thoughts within a group setting amplifies the issue because it propagates, it spreads, it's a nonverbal reinforcement at times. There was a whole.
Yes.
I have to find that article. There was a whole psychology with the group dynamics behind some of this stuff. It was amazing. I thought the article was written by a psychologist or somebody who thought they were a psychologist at least. It was really interesting.
I mean, yeah, but what I'm just saying is, at the end of the day, yes, they want a better code of conduct, but logistically to enforce it is going to be a strain on the convention itself. Like, you're going to need essentially, you're going to need more staff, more manpower, like more capital, essentially, in order to carry out this process, which I don't think they can. Like, unless
it's a losing battle almost.
Exactly.
Unless, of course, it's a movement within the Congoers themselves. If you get enough, quote-unquote, white knights, to borrow a term, if you get people like that will go out and make it their job to call out these things, then yes, you can have a marginal effect on it, but agreed. I mean, there's not enough money to go around for these little things.
Yeah. But anyways.
All right, guys. Let's play a game real quick. So we have a game called 5 Questions, or Fast 5, excuse me, where we walk through 5 questions, and we quickly say the first thing that comes to mind about the question.
How do you want to do this? Like 30 seconds per person?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay.
I can get a timer up if you don't have one.
We don't need an actual timer, but we'll play by honesty.
All right, I can do some timing here. Let me see if it. All right. So I want to do 30 seconds. All right, guys.
Yes, it's 30 seconds per person.
30 seconds per person. All right.
Please don't make me. I don't know the questions. Don't make me go first.
I'm trying to remember what I wrote as well. So, Acostoss, we'll have you go first. You ready?
Thanks.
First question. What do you think on Little Witch Academia 2's stretch goals now that they've made their $150,000 mark and they've reached 400K?
Current or future?
Current stretch goals.
Current, all I see right now is they have the standard limited edition. They can add on different things, but all I can think of for it is if you look at Time of Eve and Kickheart as your little ideas behind it, all they can really do is tack on all these physical items as the other ones did. That's where I think they'll probably be going, because otherwise I don't think they've raised enough money to add more time onto the feature.
All right, time's up. You ready, Arrow?
Yeah, I got this.
So their stretch goals include fancying up the DVD, paying their people more, getting a figure company to make figures. All right? So go for it.
All right, so they said in the very, very beginning, before the first dollar was even put down, that this was just an attempt to extend the sequel. Not necessarily make a new one, but to extend it. And yes, it's nice how they got this big boom, but at the same time, like, they've already planned it to be so long. Like, there's actually a message saying that they don't want it to, they can't expand it to be a full movie. They can't expand it into a TV series. They would like to in the future, but at this point they can't. So those stretch goals are purely there. I guarantee it's the last step too. Are just there to just make sure that they can get as much money as possible within the next 20 days.
I could agree with that. So my quick thoughts are, I think people thought that what they were purchasing was not what they were actually getting, so I think there's some confusion there. I think the stretch goals are good, but you're right. I think there's some miscommunication. I don't think, it's, at this point they've got Kill All Kill. I don't see them doing much more than what they're doing. Not this year, probably not till 2015 or 16, probably.
I mean, this is all that's announced. Like, it takes a long time to make an anime.
It does. All right, number 4. The worst show you've watched this season. We'll just do a quick. We'll do a quick round the table. Go, Arrow.
All right, worst show. I'm gonna have to go with the easy one and just say it's gonna be Dog and Scissors.
I don't care what people say about like all the potential awards it could get or it did get in the past. The point is that it's not really funny. It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. There's nothing actually there to make me continue watching it. The main character is annoying as fuck. The female lead is annoying as fuck. I just don't care. I was actually having more fun watching Roku second season. I haven't even seen the first. I was having more fun watching that.
All right.
Actually, every single show I've seen has been more enjoyable than Dog and Scissors.
Costas?
Luckily, I have avoided Dog and Scissors. I'd have for Dimension Neptunia. I enjoyed the games a ton. I don't know why, but I enjoyed them a ton. But the show itself is just pretty much everything a game adaptation is, and I'm surprised I thought it would be anything more than that. Looks terrible in motion. Great in screenshots, but terrible in motion. The humor's not even there, honestly. And it's just everything, it's lacking every semblance of a show besides the animation.
All right. I'll say for me, it's close between Dog and Scissors and Blood Lad. Neither one.
Well, you really don't like Blood Lad? Focus on that one.
Focus on that one, huh? I think the humor's really bad. The animation's pretty flat. It just isn't that enjoyable. It's not funny. I don't know. I thought Dog and Scissors is even less funny. But, yeah, for me, both of those. No, I think Dog and Scissors is probably worse. But Blood Lad is a very close second.
Wow, I'm actually... I don't know. First of all, I didn't actually expect you to watch Blood Lad. And to be perfectly honest, I actually don't mind Blood Lad at all. Like, yeah, it's not... I'm not on my ass laughing 24/7. It's no Simpo Gear, and it's no Haraku Mausama. But at the same time, like, it's decent for what it's trying to do. I mean, they're still trying to do the world-building thing, and it has me interested in that at least. So...
I don't know. I think
yes.
it's going to ride the one-trick pony out too long, and it's just not going to be funny. It's already killing a lot of the same joke over and over. No,
we'll see.
But moving on. Number 3. I'll go first on this one. The best trap so far this season. Eccentric Family or Genshiken? Have you guys both seen these?
Yes.
I've seen the former.
You haven't seen Genshiken yet? So
why would I watch that show?
Oh, so in there's a guy who dresses as a girl, pulls it off pretty well. So I'm just going to go real quick. I'm just going to say Eccentric Family. 2 episodes in a row, he's pulled off an amazing female trap. And for whatever reason, it's actually funny part of the... I don't know. It just works for me. I don't know why. I'm not a trap character fan, but it works. So, Costas?
I've seen both, and honestly, it's a toss-up because I like them for totally different reasons. Genshiken, I am a fan of traps. Genshiken, I love the character because he pulls it off fantastically. He puts so much effort in it. While in Eccentric Family, everything about him, you can tell he's a guy, the way he speaks, the way he holds himself, everything about that. You can tell it's just a means to an end. But for that reason, it's a different kind of reason why I care for the character. So it's kind of a toss-up for me.
I'm gonna say you guys are both wrong, and I'm gonna totally flip this question on its head and go with the reverse trap from Kami no Mi, The World God Only Knows, because Yui is pretty kick-ass.
But we haven't been introduced to her yet, have we?
Yeah, yes, we have.
I didn't see this week's episode.
The second episode.
Okay.
The second episode.
Okay.
Also, they briefly showed her in the first episode.
Well, they flashed through her arc in like 5 seconds.
Yes, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that were the case, I would go with Keima's best trap. But I'm going to stick with Yui because that's actually part of her character. And I don't know, I just like the way how she plays off of Keima. I mean, if Keima weren't there, then this would just be another reverse trap. But it's the fact that she's so dominant on this main character we've seen for the past 2 seasons and 300 chapters be so dominant. So,
okay.
Yes, that is my pick.
All right, I'll give you that one. Number 2, what is the best comedy this season? So, Arrow, start us off.
Okay, I'm going to go with Monogatari second season.
As a comedy?
I know... Yes.
Okay.
Really? Have you not been paying attention to all the crazy stuff Senju Gahara says? First of all, that's the best part. There's Senju Gahara. Second of all, there's a ton of Senju Gahara. And third, the comedy's actually pretty witty. It's, say what you want about Shaft or Shimmer or whatever, but it's a well-written show, and I don't care how you guys think it's boring or how people out there think it's boring. I think it's very entertaining. Like, I love how these two interact. It's so good. It's so good.
All right. Acostoss?
Right now, I'd have to say Watamote, only because I'm invested in it already. I have pretty much all the manga I've been importing, so it's very nice to see it animated, and that's about it to it.
All right. I'm going to go with service. I enjoy it. I get the humor. being working for a large. It has that kind of Dilbert slash. I don't know. It has some things I relate to. I find funny. I thought this last episode where the gal was cosplaying and trying to get the other girl to join her was kind of funny. The little sister was cute. I just don't know if it can keep being funny or not. I'm just worried.
I mean, it's best comedy so far. That's a clarification on the question.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Best comedy so far. Yeah.
But you really wouldn't consider Monogatari second season a comedy?
I don't
To
know.
an extent, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
And
I know
far,
it's really based on being comedy.
Yeah, we haven't seen the comedy chops yet. Not so much that we've seen in prior
Well, no.
seasons.
You haven't seen the slapstick yet,
Uh,
which is what usually Araragi is known for. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the
It's
banter.
definitely
The banter.
The
changing
banter
dynamic.
between the two is definitely absolutely hilarious. Like, especially when you consider the development behind it all, like how Hanazawa was just like, or Kanakawa, damn it, Hanakawa was just essentially just saying, wow, I really like Atagi, but she is fucking annoying as hell. Like, like that's gold.
All right, and the last one for those who are watching this weekend. What are your thoughts on Wong?
Justin Wong, the
Wong.
man, the legend, Mr. Marvel himself. I was absolutely ecstatic when I was watching his comebacks. Justin Wong has been known to own the scene for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Not so much for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Ultimate, and it was absolutely heartbreaking to see him have such a huge comeback and just to fall so short. He fell to one round off a mistimed super. That sucks. But yes, I've always rooted for Justin Wong, and it just pains me to see him get so close and just lose it off that last second.
Did you watch it this weekend, Acostoss?
Nah, I've been out of the fighter circuit for ages.
Yeah.
I don't even play fighters. It's a spectator sport.
Yeah, I was watching it on Twitch just because everybody was raving about it, so I had to hop in and watch. And it was funny to watch. I had my son watch with me. He's like, "Ooh, look at that!" My son likes video games, so.
It's very beautiful to watch.
It was
Seeing all that time precision and stuff, it's great to see. You don't really need to know the mechanics to understand it. That's the beauty of those kind of video game sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came to realize that Zero seems to be kind of a crutch player, but
If you think that's bad, just wait till think about 2 years ago with Dark Phoenix.
I don't know. I don't follow Marvel versus Capcom, so
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I thought it was fun to watch. It was a good half-hour loss this weekend. Fun watching the finals.
Oh, dude, I watched that. I watched the King of Fighter finals, which also, by the way, that was pretty kick-ass. Also saw the Melee finals, Super Smash Brothers Melee. And, Evo is it's so beautiful because it's a once-a-year thing. Well, at least it's treated like a once-a-year thing. And, there's always these epic moments like these. All these down-to-the-wire kind of stuff. You get that every single year. It's magical. It's like upsets in March Madness. It's so good. It defines the event.
And to kind of follow up what you're saying, League of Legends got put into the U.S. visa system. You can now get a work visa to come play League of Legends in the United States.
Yeah, but you have to be on a legit and sponsored team.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. I'm just saying though. That's an interesting step for game playing sports. For
Well, I feel like I thought League of Legends isn't the first game to do it though. I'm pretty sure, because I thought I've heard stories in the past with people in Evo and with old games like Counter-Strike.
maybe. But it's just nice. It's just interesting to see that our work visa system is more and more. How about this way? Is more and more acknowledging PC and console gaming sports. How about that?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing too is that also those sports, the potential payout is actually much greater than what most work visas get in California.
It's sad. It's terribly sad. Well, guys, we are at the end of the road. As our guest, do you want to give us some final thoughts? Acostoss?
Honestly, I'm drawing a blank here. All I can think is to reply to a couple points earlier. Again, to go back to Monogatari second season. All I focused on, more so than the comedy and the banter, is the underlying tones behind the banner, what it all means, all that. So I guess I have been missing a bit of the comedy to an extent. But that's about all I have to say.
It's like the cherry on the comedy sundae.
That's how I see it.
I see it as the main pie. So
All right.
Pie and ice cream. I like that.
scream.
Oh, final thoughts, Arrow.
Yeah, this season's been good so far.
I don't know about everyone, but like I'm always excited about a new season, regardless of how many moe shit shows there are. But I will say for some reason about this season, there's a lot of catching OPs out there. Like you got the Symphogear OP, Bakemonogatari OP, C3 Boo's OP, Watamote's OP, Gotcha Man's OP,
Gotcha.
Prison Ilia's OP. There's so many great opening songs out there. Hell, even Stay Without God, like that has a cool OP too. Nice to see Eri Kitsumura come back and sing. Like, this is a great season for singles, like CDs, not loners.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I didn't see a lot that I wanted to watch from the summer, and I picked up about anything and everything just to see what it was like, and it's actually turned out to be a really good summer. I'm watching way more than I can track right now, so I'm going to have to cut things off just for time's sake. I won't have the time to watch it.
Nah, you make time.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
So
what can you do is you need to have sex with your wife, and then just do it from behind, so then you can have your little
gosh.
iPad, and then
But you can watch your stuff at the same time.
And you wonder why you're single.
because fucking bitches is amazing, and I don't want to be tied down yet.
Oh, you crack me up, man. Crack me up. All right, guys. You can find Arrow on every other Friday at the Friday Anime Podcast. I think you have one coming up this Friday, correct?
No, it was actually last Friday.
I'm off by my Fridays, my weeks. All right. You can find, if you look there, you can find all of our usual contact spots and recap locations. Hold that for a second there. That's it, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you to our guest, Acostoss.
No problem. I was glad to be on.
And if you'd like to join us sometime as a guest, just send us an email or send us a text message or find us on Twitter.
Yep.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Peace out.
See you.